You hold a single green seed in your hand. This tiny object represents the entire trajectory of your financial future. You stand in an open field under a clear morning sky at age 25. The soil beneath your boots is soft, receptive, and completely undisturbed. The system knows one thing about you. It knows that your greatest asset at this moment is not the size of your bank account, but the number of years you have left before the horizon closes. Time is the ultimate leverage in finance. If you decide to plant this seed today, the math will work quietly in your favor for the next 40 years. If you wait just 10 years, the storm of inflation and living costs will begin to erode the soil. Delaying your decision by even a decade will cost you over $1 million in the long run. You cannot negotiate with the calendar when it comes to compounding interest. The machine doesn't ask if you're ready. It simply opens every morning, waiting for whoever decides to participate. You start your journey at age 25 with very little capital. You are not earning a massive salary, and your bank account is modest. Yet, you make a quiet commitment to invest exactly $300 every month. This is what 25 actually feels like. It feels like a slow, invisible process that does not show immediate results. Every month, you transfer $300 into a low-cost index fund that tracks the broader stock market. You watch your peers buy newer cars and upgrade their lifestyles while you quietly set aside your $300. You feel unrewarded in these early years, but the arithmetic of the stock market operates on a delayed fuse. The market offers an average annual return of 8% over the long term. In the first year, your total out-of-pocket contribution is $3,600. You look at the balance, and the interest is barely enough to buy a simple dinner. It is easy to get discouraged when the numbers are so small, but underneath the surface, the math of compound interest is beginning to work. The first rule: time is the ultimate leverage in finance. By the time you reach age 35, you have contributed $36,000 of your own money. However, your account balance does not say $36,000. It says $55,000. The market has generated $19,000 in growth without a single hour of extra labor from you. This is the inflection point where your capital begins to exhibit its own momentum. The shift. Something changes. Not dramatically, but the momentum is now working in your favor. By the time you reach age 45, your balance has grown to $180,000. Your own contributions are $72,000, meaning the market has now done more than half of the work. By the time you reach age 55, your balance crosses $480,000. At this stage, the monthly growth of your portfolio frequently exceeds your actual salary. When you finally reach age 65, the chest is overflowing with $1,050,000. Your total contribution over those 40 years was only $144,000. Compounding did 85% of the work, turning a modest monthly habit into a massive fortune. But now, let us look at a different path. Imagine you did not start at age 25. You spent your 20s spending every dollar you earned on rent, travel, and social events, believing that your career would naturally solve your retirement problems later. You arrive at age 35 with zero savings and a sudden realization that retirement is no longer a distant concept. You look at your contemporaries who started a decade ago and realize their money is already working for them. This is the 35-year-old plateau. You still want to reach that same target of $1,050,000 by age 65. But the timeline has shrunk from 40 years to 30 years. The system knows one thing about you. It knows that you have lost 10 years of compounding, and it will not grant you a discount. To reach the exact same goal of $1,050,000, you cannot simply invest $300 a month. You must now invest $60–80 a month. You must make hard choices between saving for your future and funding your current lifestyle. This is what 35 actually feels like. It feels like running twice as fast just to stay in the same position. The cost of your 10-year delay is double the monthly effort. Over the next 30 years, you will contribute a total of $244,800 of your own money. The second rule, delaying your entry into the market, multiplies your required effort. You still reach the finish line, but you had to sacrifice an extra $100,000 of your lifestyle to get there. The machine does not care about your regrets. It simply calculates the difference. The situation becomes far more severe if you wait another decade. You are now age 45. You have spent 2 decades earning, spending, and ignoring the future. Perhaps you bought a larger house, took expensive vacations, or simply assumed that your income would always rise. Suddenly, the reality of aging hits you. You look at the clock and realize you have only 20 years left before you reach age 65. You still want that $1,050,000, but the runway is now half of what the 25-year-old had. The machine doesn't ask if you're ready. To hit your target, your monthly investment must skyrocket to $1,750. This requirement forces you to rethink every major financial decision, from family holidays to vehicle purchases. This is what 45 actually feels like. It is a state of constant, low-grade panic. You must find $1,750 every single month out of your paycheck. For the average household, this is not just a lifestyle adjustment. It is a severe strain. You must cut back on major expenses, delay home repairs, and hope that no medical emergencies arise. Over these 20 years, your total out-of-pocket contributions will reach $420,000. The third rule: when you lose time, you must rely on brute force capital rather than compound growth. At this level, you are doing the heavy lifting, not the market. Compounding only does 60% of the work now, leaving you to supply the rest. This is legal. This is normal, but it is incredibly painful. Finally, we arrive at the most difficult scenario. You are age 55. You have only 10 years left until you reach age 65. You have spent your entire life living paycheck to paycheck, and now retirement is staring you in the face. You still dream of having $1,050,000 to secure your final years. But the math has turned hostile. To reach that number in just 10 years, you must invest $5,400 a month. This is the 55-year-old reality check. For the vast majority of people, saving $5,400 a month is a physical impossibility. For you, this sum likely represents your entire monthly net income after taxes. You are forced to realize that the target is out of reach. The fourth rule at the end of the timeline: catch up is a mathematical impossibility for the average earner. You cannot make up for 30 years of neglect in 10 years of panic. You are left with a tiny pile of savings, looking exhausted as the storm of retirement approaches. You realize that your retirement will not be a period of leisure, but one of continued frugality. Neither is useful regret or wishful thinking. The rules become flexible for those who start early, but they harden like concrete for those who wait. The lesson of the Steves is not about wealth, but about the asymmetry of time. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. You do not need to have thousands of dollars to begin. You only need to start with whatever you have today to let the system work for you. Somewhere in this city right now, a younger version of you is standing in a room. They hold a single green seed in their hand, looking at the dry soil. They do not know yet what the journey costs, not in dollars, but in discipline. The machine opens every morning, taking whoever shows up. You look down at your hand, and the seed is still there. How old were you when you first started investing? And what do you wish you did differently?